Imagine waking up in 2026, stepping onto a high-speed train in Germany and riding it all the way to Korea without ever showing a passport. You order coffee speaking a blend of Chinese, Persian, and Turkic, paying with currency issued by an 800-year-old unbroken global state, the Great Mongol Empire. This map shows the overwhelming scale of the Mongol Empire in the 13th century compared to the rest of the world. But as we know, that massive block of territory didn't last. After the death of Genghis Khan, succession crises tore the leadership apart, and the Black Death ravaged the population, splitting the empire into fractured, competing states. Before that collapse, they achieved the Pax Mongolica. The empire provided a level of stability that had never been seen at this scale, bridging east and west and allowing trade and ideas to flow safely across thousands of miles. Let's run a thought experiment. What if they had solved their succession problem? What if a strong leader kept the empire united? They survived the plague, and the unified Mongol state never fell apart. If the empire survived, the timing of the industrial age and the laws that govern modern life would be rewritten. Mongol power relied on rigorous organization as much as military might, enabling them to transform the Silk Road from a perilous route into a permanent, heavily protected global superhighway. Travelers move from Eastern Europe to the Pacific Ocean under a single set of laws. With the empire enforcing severe penalties for banditry, crime drops to near zero, and merchants no longer have to pay dozens of different regional border taxes. This lasting peace also means the physical centers of human learning survive. In our history, the Mongols sacked Baghdad in 1258, destroying the House of Wisdom and throwing enough books into the Tigris River to create a bridge for horses. Under a stabilized, unified empire, those libraries are protected and integrated into the global network. Ideas start moving as fast as the trade caravans. Chinese gunpowder and navigation tools mix directly with Persian engineering and Islamic mathematics. This manuscript shows the intricate circular diagrams used in early Arabic scientific thought. When you place these advanced medical and astronomical texts directly into the hands of scholars in Beijing and Samarkand, cross-pollination happens rapidly. The entire Eurasian continent acts as a massive incubator. By pooling the intellectual resources of half the planet, the rate of scientific discovery accelerates by centuries. Because of this accelerated timeline, the transition to mechanized production shifts eastward. The industrial age begins not in 18th century Britain, but potentially much earlier in Asia. The empire has all the necessary ingredients. They combine the vast coal reserves of China with the advanced steel and ironworks of Central Asia, soon replacing horse relays with early steam-powered railways and proto-telegraph wires. With the industrial engine roaring in the east, the empire builds advanced ocean-going fleets long before European kingdoms look outward. Instead of Spain or Portugal sailing across the Atlantic to build colonial empires, Asian armadas dictate the terms of global exploration. This leaves Europe completely subordinated. Unable to compete militarily or economically with a unified superstate, European kingdoms are forced to act as minor trading partners, relying entirely on Asian technology. By linking Chinese coal with Persian iron, the Mongols created a global economic engine that moved the world into the industrial age centuries earlier than our own timeline. That sounds incredible, but economists and historians point out a massive flaw in this alternate timeline. It comes down to a theory known as institutional divergence. This abstract from economic research identifies a hidden contradiction. The Mongols set up highly centralized, autocratic institutions, while Western Europe developed decentralized ones. They protected trade, but they suppressed political competition and strictly controlled property rights to maintain power. This diagram shows a stark geographic contrast: a massive, static Asian empire versus heavily fragmented European borders. The Industrial Revolution occurred in these fractured states, fighting for survival. To fund wars, rulers incentivized populations by granting property rights, giving merchants security to take risks. The Mongol system worked in the exact opposite direction. They built extractive institutions. When a single central authority owns everything and can seize wealth at any moment, the incentive to build an independent factory or enterprise disappears. The absolute, unchallenged central control that made the Pax Mongolica so effective is the exact mechanism that ultimately chokes off innovation and political freedom. If the Mongol Empire had expanded permanently across Europe, they would have brought a wave of top-down cultural conservatism to the continent. The artistic and intellectual explosion of the Renaissance relied on wealthy city-states competing for prestige. Under the strict governance of a Khan, that independent wealth is funneled away as tribute, and the fertile ground for early capitalism never takes root. Technologies like the mechanical printing press thrive in environments where dissenting ideas can spread quickly. A unified autocratic empire views uncontrolled information as a threat, closely monitoring or completely suppressing those tools to protect the central authority. We return to that high-speed train in the alternate year 2026. A world where the Mongol Empire never fell might have reached a technological future much faster, but it would be lived under a permanent autocracy. The political freedoms and property rights of our modern world were forged in the fractured, competitive spaces left behind when the Khan's empire collapsed.